Alright everyone, welcome back. With Season 9 releasing on Thursday, I must have played the Countdown game mode about 30 times or more, spending many hours in there on top of the many hours I spent playing this mode on the PTS. Not the most efficient thing to do if you're trying to rank up your Season Pass, as the XP gains do need a buff in my opinion, but for many reasons that I wanted to discuss today, this game mode is exactly what the Division 2 needed and has been missing since launch. This is my complete review of the Countdown game mode. Drop a like if you enjoy this one and subscribe to stay up to date with all my videos. Let's begin. First and foremost, massive, please do not nerf the loot drop frequency and quality. Off subject, please don't nerf the Heartbreaker gear set either. The loot frequency with Countdown is in a perfect place right now, and I think I speak for the community when I say that. It feels good to feel rewarded with a lot of loot on each and every single run, especially if you take down the hunters protecting the countermeasures and you're able to extract and take down all of the hunters at the extraction zone. When you're able to open the chests as well, it really feels like you are getting absolutely showered in loot, and on top of that, the currency you get allows you to purchase caches for even more loot at the end of a run. Of course, having a ton of loot drop isn't always a good thing, especially if the loot is bad quality, but fortunately the quality of the loot dropping in Countdown is pretty good as well, with named items dropping often and hunters guaranteeing named drops with really high stats. I've seen some posts from other players talking about how frequent they're getting exotic drops. I don't think this is due to the mode. I think this is more to do with RNG, because myself and a lot of other players included, I've not had one exotic drop yet after many runs. I think Massive intentionally made it so this mode had a high drop rate to supplement the expertise system, and it's great. It's really great. Now, talking of the mode itself, I've said this before that after playing the mode quite a lot during the free phases of the PTS over a number of weeks, I really enjoyed myself and I was looking forward to playing more when the live content drops. I'm happy to report that I still want to keep playing after no-lifing the mode for many hours on Thursday and Friday, and I think that's the best barometer in which to judge this mode for yourself. Do you look forward to playing it when you're not playing it? For me, this is where I am right now, which is a really great feeling. A feeling that I don't think the Division 2 has delivered on with any of its other comparable content for me. And some I think the Division hit really hard on the head. Countdown gives me the underground vibes. It gives me the resistance vibes from the Division, where I could jump in, have some fun, and then jump out again. When Massive decided to launch the Division 2, it came as a huge surprise to me and to many people that it came with no replayable game modes, as Massive decided to instead create this living open world and missions that could be repurposed. In year 2 of its launch, Massive decided to introduce the Summit, a mode they believe would scratch that replayable itch so many of us were missing. But for many, including myself, the Summit did nothing there. In fact, if anything, made that itch even more profound, as it was clear with the right resources they could create something worth replaying, something more akin to Underground or Resistance from the Division. I mean, they'd done it before, the Summit had some good aspects, so there was definitely something there. Whilst I'm not saying Countdown is as good as those modes were, there's no doubt this is the best piece of content they've added to the game, easily accessible to everyone. There's an argument that raids are better, but they're not easily accessible, with only a small portion of the community being able to play. Countdown is 15 minutes of fast-paced, intense combat that feels rewarding, and that's important. It has some raid-light mechanics that are easy to understand, but it does require you to actually interact with it if you want to reach the extraction zone. It's casual without feeling mindless, which I think is the perfect place for it, and one of the reasons that I love it. This is exactly how Underground felt to me as well. Resistance was a little bit different, requiring team composition and communication in order to do that well in that mode. The biggest change to Countdown during the PTS was its difficulty. This, along with other measures, I thought would decide how well this game mode does. Too easy, and players will undoubtedly get bored. too hard, and you would probably alienate the casual audience, which makes up the majority of the player base. The difficulty right now for the casual audience, for the casual player, with a full 8-man run is perfect, in my opinion. It's not difficult, but if you find yourself surrounded by 5 NPCs and you're by yourself with not much armor, if you don't have a build that has much armor, you can expect to be downed fairly quickly. Find yourself in firing range of a hunter without cover and expect to be downed fairly quickly. It's not so easy that it's mindless, which is what the difficulty was like in phase 1 of the PTS, and something I'm really glad they changed. But it's difficult enough that you do have to be on your toes a little bit. You do have to interact with the raid-like mechanics, otherwise you will not be able to extract. You can't just run into a group of 10 NPCs with no armor and expect to come out alive. There is some difficulty there. I think the difficulty has landed in a really good place, and now Massive need to work on adding a hard mode or modifiers that make the mode more difficult. I've said this before, that a new difficulty is required in order to satisfy the most hardcore players and teams, and I do still stand by that. I think those are the 3 main points that I wanted to touch on and make up the majority of my feedback for Countdown. Loot, how it feels to play, and then difficulty. I don't think it's worth really talking about how good it looks, as that speaks for itself. Massive and UB Bucharest have done a fantastic job, and whilst I was a bit nervous after the summit turned out, this is a return to form. The flow of the map is awesome, and I hope we see a lot more of this in the future. If Massive haven't been told already, this map is exactly the type of map I want for all future game modes. Overall, I'm having a lot of fun with Countdown. I guess my only negative bit of feedback to Massive is, why has it taken 4 years for them to realise that replayable game modes akin to Underground and Resistance modes from the Division are absolutely needed and loved by this community. When done correctly, they can sustain us for a very long time, especially when you have other systems that feed off of that mode, like the expertise system we have in the Division 2, and I imagine the specialization revamp when that finally comes. With UB Bucharest collaborating with Massive on future content for the Division 2, I'd hope the success of this mode will reinforce the need for just more like it, and as a result, more replayable modes will come. A short and sweet review there for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and thanks for sticking around until the end. Leave your comments down below. Let me know if you are enjoying the Countdown mode, if you're not enjoying the Countdown mode, and give me your reasons why as well. I really would like to see what the overall kind of feeling is for Countdown. From what I've seen on Twitter, which is obviously limited in its scope, people generally seem excited for this mode and generally are enjoying it. People that haven't played the Division 2 for a long time appear to be reinstalling it and playing it. People who've never played it before, especially with this free weekend, people who never played it before have been joining in, and I've seen some really good feedback, not just about Countdown, but just generally for the Division 2. So it does feel like a really good time. If you've never played it before, or you haven't played for a while, it feels like a good time just to come back and experience it for yourself. As someone who's been playing the Division 2 for a long time, I have to admit, while Season 9 and TU15 don't have what I would consider a lot of content, it's not Destiny season, and it was never intended for that, as Yannick has previously said. It still feels like there is a lot to do, and I think that's partly because the expertise system is quite sustainable. There's a lot there to do, but also the Countdown mode, it is a good mode to play, and it is enjoyable, and it's fun, and it's intense, and I think overall they've done a really good job there. I'm currently on holiday when this video goes live, so there may not be any more videos from me until either the end of the week or starting the next week. But if you don't want to miss out on those, make sure your notifications are turned on and you're subscribed. With that said, until the next one, Epic out.